Hello, rockers. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Today is Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday. Today is my I'm working an extra graveyard shift tonight. So I'm up now, but I will be going to bed at about 3 o'clock. I tried to stay up as late as I could last night. But I just wanted to let everybody know who's following me. Um, I had a epiphany, a very had a moment yesterday. So what had happened was um, I wanted to talk to my daughter. So I called her on the phone and started talking to her. And then all of a sudden, I heard other people in the background. Um, so my niece was there, my mother was there, both of my grandchildren were there with my daughter. So they were all together. I think they were at my mom's house. And I was having a really good day yesterday. So I felt really good. I felt really energized and I called and I was like, "Happy Saturday." And all I heard was, "Oh my God, you're so loud." And I'm like, "I've been loud my whole life. If you're not used to it by now, I'm sorry." Um, and then we started chatting back and forth. And then I was trying to explain to her why I was calling. And then I hear my niece pipe up in the background, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, when are you gonna come get your stuff out of the closet over here?" So I've got like storage containers from that as my belongings are in them because I used to live there in the condo that they lived in. And then my sister who owns the condo asked me to leave. So I just packed up all my belongings. My daughter stayed and I left. So all my things are still there. Um, I was homeless for a little while and then so I didn't have no place to put anything and now I'm in I was renting a room so I did get some of my things from them. But not everything. I didn't realize how much stuff I had left because I thought they had thrown all my things away. Um, but they didn't. So I still have a lot of things there in her place, and it's a closet that's out on the patio. Um, but every once in a while, this comes up, and I'm told that I need to get my things out of there. There's like 9, 10, maybe 12 um, totes, the big plastic totes, storage totes. So I hear her in the background telling my daughter or saying, "When are you going to come get this stuff?" And I'm just quiet. I'm just listening. And then I hear my daughter say, and I said, "Oh no." Then I said, "Oh, joking. Annabella, who is my granddaughter, said I could keep my stuff there. It wasn't bothering her." And as a joke. And my daughter's like, "Yeah, no, Annabella doesn't have that authority." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And then I was just laughing about it. And then my daughter starts on me about it. Mind you, we've been on the phone 3 minutes. So I've got my niece, my daughter, and then all of a sudden I hear my mother, who I didn't know was there, in the background. And somebody was talking in the background. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but then I hear my mother say, um, "They're picking on your favorite granddaughter." Now, I've got two granddaughters. I've got the oldest is 15 and the youngest is 10. My granddaughters are, I absolutely adore my beautiful granddaughters. I have special relationships with both of them because they're two completely different individuals, but they're still my grandkids. And my oldest, I actually watched be born. I was actually in the delivery room with her when she was born. And you can't ever unsee that. So there's a special bond that her and I share. Um, And they stayed with me for probably the first 6 months of her life, until my mother talked her into moving to California. Whole nother story. Lots of trauma in my life when that happened. Um, so I have a bond with her. They moved back to where I was living when she was probably 3. They moved back to where I was living, and then I ended up spending a lot of time with my granddaughter. I would just go over to her house on my days off and go pick her up, and she would stay with me the whole weekend. And then anytime my daughter, of course, needed me to watch her, I was always there. There was never a time I would ever turn down watching my grandbaby. Absolutely adored her. Still absolutely adore her. She's freaking beautiful. So that was my relationship with my oldest granddaughter. First, beautiful, Annabella. And then Emily came along. Emily is my 10-year-old granddaughter. She has some disabilities, not physical, but more mental disabilities, ODD, ADHD, ADD. She's got some things going on in her little brain, but I still absolutely adore this kid because she is a ball of energy. Sometimes I can handle her and sometimes I can't. But I didn't really get the bonding time with her when she was first born because they lived in Laughlin and I lived here in Vegas. And unfortunately, I was not able at that time to come and visit with them as often as I wanted to due to my job and then due to things going on in my daughter's household. So when I think she was 3 was when my daughter, 2 or 3, was when my daughter left her husband and then came to live with me here in Vegas in the condo that they now live in. I think it was like 2 or 3. So then they were with me full time. So it was a traumatic reason. Abuse was going on in the house. So that was why my daughter left. So there was lots of trauma that had happened to the youngest because her dad didn't want her, unfortunately. So lots of trauma involved with her. So her and I bonded over this trauma because my daughter, unfortunately at that time, my daughter was trying to heal herself. So she didn't have a lot of time to pay attention to her. So I did. I gave her all the love, all the hugs, all the kisses, all the I love yous, all the you're safe. I wouldn't change a second. But there were times that I did interfere with how my daughter would talk, discipline, whatever, correct Emily. I would step in and I would tell her, 1, you're being too rough. You need to bring your tone down, because that's not working with her. Spankings don't work. She learned that early on because she would spank her, swat her on the butt, whatever. She would just look at her like, is that all you got? So they didn't work. Emily was, and still is, a tough nut to crack sometimes. But she didn't get the most gentle welcoming into the world because of the relationship that she was not able to get with her father because he is a POS and did not want a child. And he made it very known he didn't want one. But my daughter is not one to give up to, you know, I'm not going to say it, but she's not going to do the big A to get, you know. So she kept her. And she said, you know, we're just going to have to make do because I'm not going to do anything else. This happened. We tried to prevent it, but shit happens, you know? And I absolutely love this kid. She is just, she is a different and complete opposite of her sister. Complete opposite of her sister. But they love each other so much. They've got such a bond because during that time, while they were in Laughlin still, living with their dad, the oldest, Annabella, would have to take care of her sister because the dad would not allow mom to take care of her. So she did a lot of the caring for her, changing diapers, feeding bottles, things like that. So when they came to live with me, her and I bonded over all of that trauma in her life and we became very close as well. So the oldest I bonded over us being together and her being my first granddaughter. So we bonded during her first crucial years. And then Emily came along and we bonded a little bit later in life, but I've got a special bond with both my granddaughters. So that aside, on the phone, my mother in the background saying, they're picking on your favorite granddaughter, which everybody says Emily is my favorite. And I don't have a favorite. And I've told my mother numerous times, do not say that because I do not have a favorite. I love both of my grandchildren equally. I love them both individually because they're both two different people. So I don't love them the same, but I love them the same amount. So, and I've asked my mother not to say those things. She doesn't care that it upsets me. She doesn't care that it upsets them. Because as she's saying this, I then hear my oldest granddaughter, Annabella, say, well, I know I'm not the favorite. Oh, man. Ooh, that hit. That really, really upset me. And so I didn't say anything. And I said, you know what? I love you guys, but I gotta go. Bye. And I hung up the phone. And then I just let out. I didn't cry, but I got emotional. Because, you know, we're supposed to bring our children into this world to be better than what we were. So we teach them what we didn't know at their age. We try to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes. 9 times out of 10, they're going to make those mistakes anyways. But if you talk to your children and grandchildren, whomever, if you talk to them and you explain to them things, maybe it won't be as bad for them as it was for you when you made that mistake, because nobody taught you. Nobody taught me. My mother didn't teach me diddly. And so everything that I've learned on my own, and sometimes very rough ways of learning things. So I got myself together and I was just like, you know what? This is why I cut ties with my mother. and my sister, because they are both extremely toxic people. I am seeing now that my niece is as extremely is as toxic as they are. Um, my daughter becomes a toxic person when she's around them. Because when you're around toxic, you pick up that toxic. And so I realized that, and I've been talking a little bit here, a little bit there with my mother, because she is still my mother, and she's 81. So she's not going to be here for a whole lot more years. So I want to make sure that I don't have any regrets when she does pass, which I don't think I will, because she's lived a long life. And I still love her. I mean, she is still my mother. I don't respect her anymore because she knows what she's doing. She's been told what she's doing, yet she refuses to make any changes in her life. So I'm making changes in my life, and one of the changes was to distance myself from her, especially in a group setting, because they feed off of each other, and it's very hard for me because I don't want that in my life. I don't need it in my life. I don't want it in my life. I distance myself from all of that because I like a nice, quiet life. So I send my granddaughter first. I send her a text message and I tell her what an amazing person she is and how much I love her and how proud I am to be her grandmother, and that she is amazing and I love her. I didn't say anything about what had just happened, what had just occurred. She was right there. She heard what happened. So I didn't say anything about that. And then I just told her how much I loved her. And of course, she reciprocated, I love you too, Grandma. A little bit more details. And then I was like, what am I going to say to my mother? Should I say anything to my mother? And I put it off. And then about 45 minutes after I got off the phone, I picked up the phone and I started texting her. Basically, what I told her was, there is a reason why I took myself out of your life. And now I see that my choice was correct. Because, oh man, what did I say? And it's on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone. Basically, I told her that I've asked you not to say those things. I do not have a favorite granddaughter. And when you say things in front of them like that, you make yourself look bad. And then you make them feel like there's something wrong with them. It has zero to do with me because they both know that I love them. And I'm not there and I'm not the one speaking. So you're making yourself look bad. And what you're saying is a lie. We are meant to, this is what I told her, we are meant to uplift the children that are around us, the people that are around us. We are to uplift those people, not put doubt. And what you do when you say things like that is you put doubt in their head. You put doubt in their little brain to make them think that there's something wrong with them. Why wouldn't my grandma love me just as much as she loves my sister? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to an impressionable 15-year-old? Life is hard enough as it is at that age. And a 10-year-old who already doubts anybody loves her. And then you go and say something like that. I didn't say anything negative. I didn't point a finger. All I said was, you make yourself look bad when you say things like that. And you know it's a lie. And you're saying it because you think it's funny, that it upsets me. Why? Why would you want to upset somebody? Not just me, but those two beautiful, innocent kids. What pleasure do you get out of that? So I told her, I said, I made the correct choice. I made the right choice by taking you out of my life and moving forward with my relationship with my granddaughters and my relationship with my daughter. Because my relationship, in my opinion, my relationship with my daughter went sour because of my mother. Because my mom is constantly in her ear, and my daughter 100% respects my mom. And I encouraged her to have a relationship with her grandmother. She was not the first, but the first girl granddaughter. So my mom has a special relationship with her, and I encouraged it. And I allowed it to become a beautiful relationship. And I could have withheld my daughter from her. Absolutely, 100%. I could have. I could have limited their interactions together. And it wouldn't have been anything that anybody could have stopped because I'm the mom. But I didn't. I encouraged, I reinforced their relationship. My daughter would have to make cards for her for every grandmother's day, every birthday, Christmas, every holiday. She had to sit down and make something, make a beautiful card for her grandmother, put time, energy, effort into it. And then we would put a picture, or, she would make her a picture or something, or a gift with that card. Every holiday, every birthday. And I encouraged that. I reinforced it. I gave her money to do the things that she wanted to do. Unfortunately, my daughter is not doing the same for my grandkids. But that's her. She's a different mother than I am. And she's got different things, outward things, that she's got people telling her that she doesn't have to do things like that. But my grandkids are seeing, that maybe we should pay a little bit more attention. The oldest especially. The youngest, the 10-year-old, Emily is 10. She's she's in her own world most days. But I just wanted to make this video, one, to get it out, because it was really a tough day yesterday with all the things that were going on in my brain. But I got over it and I let it go. And sending the text messages helped. Definitely helped. Because I didn't say anything ugly. I didn't get upset. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I did send my daughter a text message as well. And I said, the next time I call you, I think I'll text first. Only because I don't want to be put in that situation again. I don't like being the butt of their jokes. I don't like being the target for their toxicity. And I refuse to allow that bullshit in my life. So I won't be calling her. just out of the blue anymore. I'll text first, or I'll text when I think she's at work. But it was definitely a lesson. It was definitely a lesson. So if you got toxic people in your life, you don't have to be ugly. You don't have to be mean. You know, just let it go. Take the high road, you know. And don't allow it in your life. You know, I know I made another video before to be mindful of how you come at me. Because I'm not the same person that I was a year ago, 6 months ago, hell, a month ago. I'm not that same person. I'm evolving every day. I get better. And every day I am working on me, getting myself into right frame of mind, because I believe in reincarnation. And I don't want to come back and have to repeat this bullshit again. I am over all of this crap. I'm ready to move forward emotionally, spiritually, financially. My next life, I want to come back with having a beautiful relationship with somebody who loves me and I love, living a long, beautiful life with them, having finances, being educated, you know, just being the better version of myself that unfortunately I was not able to get all of that in this life. But I've not stopped trying it though, you know. I still try. I've got not the best job in the world, but I still got a job. I have side hustles that I do that I have been doing. I've kind of put them aside for a little while because I was sick for a little bit there. And then I had other things going on, emotionally, family-wise, I had other things going on. Now I'm settled into my new place and I'm getting settled into this new way of living. So I'm ready to start picking up where I left off with that. Not right now, but I'm giving myself time. You know, there's nothing. We have nothing but time. You know. So, but definitely the next thing I got to work on is getting my things out of my daughter's apartment. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of room here in this apartment, and I would prefer not to have to get a rental storage unit. But if I gotta, I gotta, you know, because I'm tired of hearing that they don't want my stuff there in a closet that they don't even use. But all of a sudden they want to use it. And that's on them, you know. It's their house. So I'll get it figured out. And then I won't have to worry about that anymore. So I just wanted to put that out there. Make sure that you're living your life, your best life for you. And if you've got toxic people, if you've got people in your life that don't make you feel the best part of you, then leave them behind, regardless of who it is. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your kids, you know? If you feel that they're toxic and you feel that they're not encouraging or enlightening your life, making your life more fulfilled when you're around them, be gone with them. Be gone with them. I just let somebody go that I've been seeing for the last 13, 14 years. 13 years. Because the relationship wasn't going anywhere. He didn't want anything more than what he wanted. It was always about him, his wants, his needs, his satisfaction. And I don't want that. I want somebody who wants to make me happy, do things for me, go places with me, you know, be with me other than 45 minutes a day. or 45 minutes a week, you know? So I let him go. And I'm moving forward because I hope that, and I'm sure he has a beautiful life. He does a lot of traveling. He does a lot of seeing other people. More power to you. Enjoy your life. Be happy. I hope that you can find somebody else that will fulfill your needs. And I'm sure you do. So that part of my life is done. There's still other dogs out there sniffing around, but they're not the people that I want. That's not the person that I want in my life. So letting it go. But make sure that you're living your life for you and you're happy with what and who you have in your life. All right? I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. Today is I don't even know what day of the week it is for me work-wise because my schedule is so jacked right now. But I hope you all have a great day and a great week. Until next time, peace. Rockin' Rhonda out.